Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we kind of have a busy night tonight, so I'm going to try to move along fairly quickly. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from June 6th?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
No, they were good.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so Randy, I'm going to start you with highway, but I'm going to stop you in 5 minutes, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
great, I hope we'll be done.
Yeah, that's nice.
Alright, so Lenny and I finalized the paperwork for phase one of the Somerville Grant Trail System. This year we had to redo all the GPS, the 3-year, which is ridiculous, redo every trail. There was 34 pages of paperwork that went along with that.
Wow.
New GPS, so that's the state of New York for you. And all we did was redo what we already had. But redundancy is beyond. To sign the paperwork was just, every single page had to be printed, signed, so on and so forth. Lots of people forgot that yesterday was Juneteenth and it's a holiday for the town of Lake Pleasant. And hence you will see a lot of garbage strewed all over, because they put it up Sunday night and we didn't pick it till today. So Fish Mountain Road, Page Street, several cans were bared, let's put it that way.
Just a little addendum for those of us who live in the village. My assistant,
Your garbage got that.
he said, garbage night? No, federal holiday, Tuesday. I put my stuff out this morning, went out my very merry way, never saw another can. I'm like, what the hell? I finally asked somebody, no, the village picked it up yesterday. But where'd they take it?
They didn't.
The dump had to be closed, right?
The dump was closed.
How did they get their employees to even work that day?
Yes.
They told the employees that, you may add me, that's what I was told, we didn't budget for the holiday.
Oh.
You gotta pay them either way.
I don't understand that at all.
The numbers don't change.
But for those of us who put the garbage out this morning,
Yeah,
I will be sending a thank you note to your colleague, because somebody rolled around to my house, only my house, and picked up the garbage today for me. But apparently it got picked up yesterday, so I did notice,
Yeah.
down that way, towards the golf course,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the stuff went out Sunday night, so none of us seem to have got the memo.
yeah. Somebody's not reading that thing that everybody has to have by January 2.
Riding through the village today and seeing the garbage, I was thinking that since they were pouring the footings
Yes.
for the tower today, that they were probably,
Maybe
thought
they-
they better collect
Busy,
yesterday.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's reasons.
Even though nobody had it out, or not everybody had it out.
Name, but we'll have it.
Confusion.
Or maybe they just forgot it was a holiday.
When you add a new holiday, after all these years, it's gonna take a little while.
Yeah, so, I'm waiting for the phone calls to start coming in that we didn't pick up their bare strewed garbage and that, you know.
It's not your job.
No.
Exactly. Still working on with the adjuster out front here for the parking lot. He's so far going along with everything I'm throwing at him, except for one little detail about trucking. But I just can't make an asphalt plant up here right here, so they have to haul it, so.
Where do you haul from now?
Now is either, yeah, Barracks, Peckham's, or down in
Ronald.
Yeah,
That's where it's probably gonna
That's the
go.
closest.
2 hours round trip either way.
Right.
I got a phone call this weekend that the hose was spraying all over the place at the health center. The Y that we have in there broke. I went down, shut that thing off, installed a new Y, and everything was happy. But thankfully, a across the road citizen
Yeah, that's good.
on their walk noticed it, and
Nice.
so.
they had those shut up, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm gonna, but
I I got 5 minutes here.
No, one more.
Well, this might fill it up, but they have the commercial shut-offs on those things. Would it pay, because we've had
go
problems
the other way?
before, to put it just a regular one on and if somebody can just go like this?
It may, it's been there forever, but,
I know, but we've had in the past,
yeah,
water squirting out of them and nobody can turn it
just
off.
turn them off. So, I don't know how it's hooked up, but I'm sure we can add one to it, let's put it that way. Two more of those things, we've been hauling stone in for paving, and a little bad news, Route 30 paving. At this point in time, there is no date.
What?
We went
It's supposed
from,
to be this
yes,
week.
we'll have it done before July, yes, we're gonna do it on June 3rd, the last week of June, we're gonna start it, to this morning's conversation. We have not had a pre-construction meeting, and there is no date for so said meeting, nor is there a date for any work to be
They've been
done.
doing such little tiny patching, I thought it was precursor.
But yet some of the paving company, some of the bid,
So the bids have been out and accepted and
Yep.
so on and so forth, we know who's going to do the work, we know who's going to haul the paved blacktop.
Oh, okay, that's something.
so that's something.
Yeah.
Again,
They have no time frame, dates or anything.
I had,
Stop for a minute, please, excuse me. It's 4:35. I want to open the public hearing for local law to increase term of office for town supervisor from 2 years to 4-year term. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Don.
okay, I was wondering the same thing about the road and my curiosity got the better of me, so I went to the source and called up DOT.
Good job.
What did they tell you?
Good job.
They told me that a certain amount is going to be done, this is supposed to be confidential, I'm not supposed to tell anybody. A
You're not
certain
telling
amount
anybody
is
here.
going to be done this year, and it will seem like it is paved after they get done with that.
It's getting.
But it will not be actually paved till next year.
So they're going to do the melting,
Right.
but now, here's the funny part is, they already have the contractor to haul the blacktop in to do the 1 inch, to the 3/4 inch on top. So, my little bit of information told me that later on in the fall, it might get topped also, depending on things.
If they have contract
We haven't
already,
even, yeah, they got a contract, so, but we haven't, now they don't have the
They don't know.
pre-meetings or anything, they have no clue. So basically, you can pretty much hold your hand on your butt if you wanna get time out of them.
oh, that's too bad.
And they're stopping at Campton Woods Road down the Ave, they're not coming in around the corner. And now they are already laying out the next project of replacing the sluices around in the concrete area up to the bridge. They are somehow
Believe
found
that.
extra money for that.
It seems
Nobody's
backwards.
asking what a sluice is. Does
No.
everybody know what it is?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's thing that carries water.
Thank you, everybody.
Do you know what it is? It's a concrete ditch that goes down around the curve of the road. It's called a sluice.
Just to carry and divert water to the places they want.
It's a ditch, yeah.
So I don't feel so
Concrete
bad.
ditch.
It's a concrete
None of us
ditch.
knew.
Concrete ditch.
Okay,
After culvert.
I'm done.
you're all done?
Hey, if you didn't interrupt me, I would've had it done.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Okay, so I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to old business. Because we have 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 18 minutes, before we close that public hearing. So, old business, the museum fundraiser, we're up to $27,517. And Chris will be starting to set up a table at the Music on the Point. Not the first 2 weekends, but after that, it'll pretty much be every weekend, and she is looking for volunteers if someone would be willing to sit with her. It's from 6:30 to 8:30 on a Wednesday, and she will be just basically looking for donations for the museum. LED streetlight update. I'm gonna let Randy talk because he's kind of got a better, it's been terrible.
Okay, so, last time I do believe it, we reported some of them were taken down and not put them back up.
That's my question.
Now, most of those, I should say, not all, have been replaced with LEDs. More LEDs have been put up on South Shore Road, on Fish Mountain Road, and I believe on Fawn Lake Road. But the very first one that was taken down and not put back up, is still not up. I got a phone call from the guy that was taking them down, saying he had a work order in front of him that said to go over on Page Street and remove one of the LED lights. When he got there, it was LED, and he says, I just wanna call, find out what's going on, and I said, do not take any lights down unless you are ready
There
to
you
put an LED back up. He goes, well, there's already an LED here, and I'm talking to the landowner in front of it, and they don't want it down. And it was the same landowner that we just went through to get it replaced.
So more mishaps at
Oh,
National Grid.
National Grid, what this gentleman basically told me is the order that I put in a while back now, probably 2 months ago now, to have lights fixed, they are seeming to just, somebody referred that as removal. And he's getting these across his work orders, and he knows not to take them down because he calls me or whatever. And the last bunch that was taken down was done by another contractor that National Grid also sends these work orders to. So, more than likely, we're going to see more of them taken down and nothing put back up. And we have, Betsy and I, exhausted every ounce of phone calls that I know of, except for going down and finding their office and knocking on the doors, to get any kind of response for what's going on. A simple question, when are we gonna finish this? You charged us almost $11,000. Why is this not being executed? You see them, they change one, maybe 2 lights, and you don't see them for 3 days. And I just happened to see them on South Shore Road, right by the courthouse. And I drove around their trucks, and they had 3 trucks to change 1 light. Fine, I don't care, but.
Maybe Jim Tedesco. Maybe it's time
You
to.
think, we were just talking about that today, who do we call, Jim?
Well, I mean, Jim's
If Jim doesn't,
he's an active guy.
he might know somebody.
He's our senator, he's an active guy.
Okay. I will
Or, I
contact him
mean,
tomorrow.
not throwing to side Mark Smullen either. These are their district, and if they're not on public service committees, they know who is.
Okay,
It just, you hate to be,
I'd hate to throw the Better Business Bureau in there, but
no, it
I mean-
wouldn't even be Better Business Bureau. In this case, I mean, it's the Public Service Commission.
right.
They're a monopoly.
Right.
But people sit on those committees, steering committee from the Albany to the PSC. Years ago, the chairman lived here. You know who that,
I don't.
up next to, the boys' camp? His name was, he had 2 first names. You know what I'm talking about? I'll think of it in a second, but he once in a great while, he was a source. I would call Dale Early, and he would call, Dale was his caretaker up for a camp up at the end of the Whitaker Lake, yeah.
The caretaker?
Yeah, I'll think of it in a second, but, like I say, it's like John, Gary, like that, two first names. First name and a last name was a first name.
Jerry.
Yes, Harold Jerry.
Harold Jerry.
There you go, very good, thank you.
Harold Jerry.
Well, Mr. Jerry, you could call him, and he says, well, we'll put it on our agenda. They don't have to listen to anybody but the PSC. But this is silly.
yeah, it's very silly.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so next is the employee handbook. I forwarded it to everybody about a week and a half ago. Don't know if anybody's had a chance to review it, if they picked up on anything. We picked up on we have a little bit of a checklist here, not a lot. There's no principal account clerk, the town supervisor does that, so I'll get that changed. Does the town, one of his questions was, does the town offer short-term disability benefits? The answer is no. Correct, okay. And under the summary, there's just a word in there that needs to be taken out. Where the heck is Kathy? And then page 100, Neil picked out that it was after World War I, not after World War II.
It was just in the biography, or the bio of the town how things came to be. They talk about the boxers. And they mentioned blah, 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 but these guys all came off of World War I, not II. Just, it's a silly typo to have, in your formative papers.
Yeah. And only one thing, and I had discussed it with Randy today, is there's nothing in there giving any information for new employees. Like when they first start, they're on a 6-month probation. From
not
the
in there?
start date,
That's not in there, 6 months?
I can't find it. We can't find it.
I'll reread.
But
I thought so.
if you guys would,
Yeah.
maybe I'm overlooking it, maybe he's overlooking it, I
Well,
don't
just,
know, but
you
they
know, I'd
still.
rather have that twice.
Yeah,
than-
they still accrue vacation time, sick time, and personal time. From the start date, they do get paid holidays, and health insurance and boot allowance is after 6 months probation is over. I just kind of think we should have something in there for some kind of description for a new employee, a brand new
Of course.
employee.
And in that, they accrue it, they're sick, but they can't use it until after.
Right.
6 months.
Right, just there as an accrual.
I know that was a surprise when I was hired by the town. After my 6 months, I had all the
Okay.
stuff I said.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a little bit, I mean, we still have time to go through it, so we'll wait until
Oh,
maybe,
wait a minute, we need to modify that.
what's that,
It's
Nance?
a year for
After a
personal.
year for personal, because you get it on your anniversary date.
There you go. That's
Okay.
absolutely right.
Okay,
I thought it was all 6 months, my mistake.
So it's a 1-year anniversary of your
Yeah.
hire date.
That's only personal time, right?
Yeah,
yep.
so it takes you that year.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay. Perfect. So if anybody sees anything else, I'd like to give it like another week and get back to them. I also, just to let you guys know, he's standing behind his original agreement back from a year and a half ago of, I think it was $2,500 to do it. Yeah, and he said we have to tell all our friends and recommend them.
Okay.
So that was kind of good news. I was a little nervous
It's a good
with
firm.
everything going up.
We've had good luck with them.
Yes.
I was on vacation and
Yep.
I didn't do that.
Absolutely, okay.
Part of my reading.
Next thing is the Chamber of Commerce update. On June 14th, the Chamber Board, Bill Farber and myself met. Chris Rhodes couldn't make it, and what we were doing is the 3 towns that financially support the Chamber, we felt was important. We wanted to meet just to discuss what happened, because there's so many rumors, and since Katrina resigned, we wanted to know what direction they were headed in. I really, at this point, they had told us that they were interviewing Bonnie Reisinger and Katie Eldridge on Wednesday, which would have been the next day. They have a total of 3 applicants. I never heard back from them yet. I did contact Peter this morning and he didn't get back to me. Stopped at the chamber, Gary was there, but he didn't even know that they were interviewing. So I took the liberty to actually call one of the people, Bonnie and Katie, one of them, just to find out, did you get hired or not? I understand Bonnie did not. I do not know about Katie. I just want to say I'm concerned. We're coming up on our 2nd quarter payment in July. And not that I want to use this as leverage, I really don't. But I think if we don't start getting somewhere soon, we need to hold back and see what is going to happen here. I understand at least 1, possibly 2 of their board members have resigned. So there seems to be a little concern, but we want to be supportive at the same time, but we need to get some direction here.
Sorry to hear that of all people that had to be there, that Chris could not attend that meeting.
Yeah.
What really needs to happen is some détente between Pacico and the chamber.
Well, in all fairness, I think that's all done. It's done, it's over, the event is canceled. They're going to wait till next year and let the dust kind of settle. They don't have time to get everything going again. A lot of the vendors, that was a freebie for the vendors to go there from the farmer's market. So it's not like they had to worry about refunding all these people. They're just concerned if they try to recreate it next year, they're not going to get the fire departments, the ambulance corps, the DEC, all these people where they had to touch a truck and the machinery and stuff. They're concerned about that.
Right.
But there's still time to mend fences and hopefully they'll be able to get it going again next year.
I agree, and that's their call, and I think a smart one to to cancel this as it,
Yeah.
you know, got rocky.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about, as you pointed out, town boards, so the 3 town boards that you mentioned are the bulk, I mean, the members pay, and there's tens of thousands of dollars that comes in that way. But still the bulk of the revenue that's come in to run that office is from those 3 contract agreements. That's more what I'm concerned about, hearing things about folks trying to convince the area town board not to participate at all in the chamber, not Seco days, but, and with that, cooler heads have to explain things, and what are they gonna do, make their own? You know, how much more factionalized can we become? I just, more of those type meetings, but for us, I think we have to send our own messages. And I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that the town board of Arietta and Morehouse, they haven't had a contribution from Wells in some time.
Right,
It's the chamber board's charge, I won't say job, because it's not like they're paid anything.
right.
But it's their charge to address this and try to pull this thing back together so that we can have a vibrant chamber. That's what the town taxpayers are hoping, and I'm hoping that the Seco taxpayers see it that way too.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to give it a little more time and hopefully they can get things going in the right direction. We
Yeah, I've-
have to be optimistic
I've
at this
spoken to a
time.
number of the board members, and they have to be proactive here.
Okay, so, I'm gonna have to skip this next thing and basically go on to new business because we have 5 more minutes before we have to close the first hearing and open the second hearing. So, I'm going to move on to new business. Library telephone service. This is quite interesting. We were paying for 4 phone lines. The May bill was $278 and change, and the fiber optic bill is a separate one, which is another $121. Total of $399.55. Our town hall is $438 for a lot of different offices. So I came down and discussed it with Sherry. She knew about the main line, she knew about the fax line. We weren't sure about the other line, so she got on her cell phone and called it, and it rang and rang and rang and rang, but not here.
But not here.
Not here. So, but there's a good reason. So, I then went back to the office and I called Frontier, and I actually spoke with a lady that was very, very helpful, really, believe it or not. So, we are paying for what you call the Hunt Group, which is the 4 telephone lines, the fax, the main line. And what the other 2 are, if someone is on the phone for the main line, it automatically kicks and starts ringing on another line. So we've agreed that we're doing away with those 2 lines. We only have 2 people working here. We don't need to have 3 lines coming in. So that's gonna save quite a bit of money for that alone. Okay, next is, we also have a program called Simply Unlimited Voice Long Distance, which is $65 a month. There is a new plan that costs $39.99 a month, and it does not expire, and it's not a promotional deal. So we can cut that down how many dollars. And we're also working on putting the fiber optic bill together with the regular phone bill, and that will also cut the costs a little bit. So I'm sorry to say I have no final answer tonight. I will have it at the next meeting. I have to wait for the order writers to call me. The lady that I spoke with can't do it. It's actually another department that can do this for me. So then next thing I did is the museum telephone. Museum telephone is $103 a month. It's $36 for the phone and $65 a month for the fiber optic. God bless you. So I called Frontier about that one, and they no longer offer a seasonal phone. So we have to pay for a full 12 months, even though we're only open 3 months. So, first I called Sally Cross, the president of the Historical Society, and she has no problem having the fiber optic, I still have, right? Yes, okay. She has no problem having the fiber optic line shut off because they do not use it, but her concern was Aaron Weaver, our historian, who works there on Thursday afternoons. So I went to see Aaron, and he thought for 3 months we should have the fiber optic turned off, it's a waste, and he really doesn't use it that much. He would rather see us take that extra money and increase his expense line in the budget for next year, not a raise, his expense line, because in the future, he does see that he's gonna be needing more supplies as the time goes along, with possibly a scanner, maybe a new printer. So I don't have a definite answer on that until I can talk to this order writer person. So that's where we stand with that.
Good work.
Well, I'm gonna add something in that Kathy just brought to my attention today when she came to the bills. Verizon. Randy, are you ready for this? They're charging us for 4 cell phones. One is Steve's, one is Eric Ash, one is mine, and one is yours.
What?
Yep, we're paying $38 a month since Steve started for Verizon.
No, wait a minute. We have 4. We have yours,
Yep,
we have mine,
yep,
we have Steve's cell phone,
yep.
we have the tablet.
So this tablet, does it actually have a phone number?
Yep.
So that's what this is, oh, I feel so much better, because I kept saying, how many
I
months
set
is
it
that?
all up, so I'm like, now wait a minute.
Unfortunately, this just happened about 1:45 today, so I didn't get to see you, so thank you, that's good, that's one less thing I have to do. Yay, okay.
Bob needed the tablet, or not Bob, well, yeah.
Steve.
Yes.
No, Asher,
Eric,
Eric needed the tablet for Bob's,
Software.
software that we just got.
okay,
That one made perfect sense.
okay,
I
I
may
have to
have to
stop,
answer
I have to
Kathy.
stop. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, at this time, I will open the public hearing for local law to increase term of office for highway superintendent from 2 to 4 years from 2-year term to a 4-year term. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, you can continue talking, Don and Neil, I apologize.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Okay, I got such a mess here, so we gotta go back to this after.
Doing fine.
Okay, next thing I'm gonna bring up is what we call a high tunnel for a community garden. What a high tunnel is, it kind of looks like a greenhouse, but it's not, because the plants are actually grown on the ground in the dirt. Wells Town Hall has one behind there, if anybody wants to go look at it. It's really, really nice. I drove down there last week to check it out. So it's really kind of strange, because this Tom Bailey, he's the district conservatist for, for a whole bunch of counties. For Hamilton, Warren, where am I with that high tunnel?
He's with
Anyway.
Crawford Extension, isn't he?
Yes, and he actually sits on the Soil and Water Board with me, but he wasn't at the last meeting when I told Caitlin and everybody about June taking the 3rd graders and teaching them how to plant and all that fun stuff. So Caitlin had suggested that I get a hold of Tom, so it's kind of really weird how things work out. I got the information from Caitlin on Friday afternoon. Saturday morning, Jeanette Barrett called me about the community gardens. She was looking into a greenhouse, and I said, oh, as a matter of fact, so I told her what I had been doing. Well, come to find out, she was doing the same thing. She had contacted Tom, but she understood that it's a town property, and I told her that we would have to do the grant work and all that. She's more than willing to help. Well, anyway, I called Tom and set it up. So next Wednesday, we're meeting at the community garden with June, Jeanette, Tom, and myself to go through everything, and then he'll give me the information for who I have to contact for the paperwork. I just wanted to make sure that the board was willing.
Yeah, and I just have a couple questions.
Yep.
Paperwork for a grant?
I don't have all the information. I'm understanding that it probably won't really cost us much of anything.
We've had high tunnels on that property before.
Well, that's what Randy said the one is.
Sure.
The one is.
So we may be able to
Well,
replace it.
we've had
The
at least,
maintenance of it.
yeah, they get beat
done by
up.
the village. They get beat up. The snow is not a
It's-
high tunnel.
Farrell-
thing.
They're plastic and plastic.
I think
Right.
you on the whole.
Right, well, they're either, they're bent poles that are either
Yep.
PVC
They're
or
pinned
like
in the
metal.
They're
They're
metal.
pinned down.
They're
And,
nice.
and Farrell was the maintenance guy for a number
Right,
of
for
years
years.
for those.
Yeah.
for when Nancy Welch.
What
Yeah.
happens is.
But they're very good
Plastic
for
part
us.
dries.
Right, so, but
It's sun-
Dry rots and then splits.
But yes, just to mention, the one is basically falling apart. They're gonna make it through this year, and this is not gonna happen overnight. By the time we get all the paperwork and the right connections and get everything turned
They
in,
wanted an addition, and that's when Farrell built the
Right.
second one, which I think is the one that's not so well.
okay. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm working on this, we have a meeting, and I really don't have a lot of information, but I will have it for our next meeting. I'll probably send it with the agenda so everybody can read up on it and understand more of what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm talking a little bit here, but I don't know that it's that expensive to replicate or build.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the supplies go to build them, they're not that expensive. If a grant takes forever and the folks at the garden want it, we could do this ourselves. I mean, it's not. that
Well,
big a deal.
we actually discussed that, Randy and I wanted to check with him first, and of course, we can't, depending on the time of year, the
Right.
guys would certainly erect it and, you know,
We
put it
can
all
get
together.
volunteers for that part. I mean, I can't grow anything, but I can tote that barge, you
Yeah.
know, I mean,
I can handle a shovel too, but June
Yeah,
is
but most of it
absolutely
is
thrilled to
building.
think that we're taking charge and
well, that's kind of what I
looking
mean.
into that.
I don't think we wanna send any messages, but that keep up the good work.
Yep.
They're doing.
She's doing a great job. So we planned it around when she was coming up
Nice.
next, so she could be a part of all this, cause she has made it all,
And she should be encouraged.
Can we put a
You
height
should
on
be
it?
encouraged
I
now.
got a question.
go ahead.
More minutes, man?
Dad, can we put a high tunnel over the top of the tennis courts? Bring up down half of the tennis.
Then a big blower and like a carrier dome sort of.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing,
You got a mouse in your pocket?
so the next thing I'm going to discuss is, our standing, health insurance standing committee. Kathy O'Connell, at our organizational meeting, we approved for Kathy to be on that committee. Since then, Kathy has brought it to my attention that this would be a conflict of interest because George gets the health insurance for he and his family through the town. Never gave that a thought. So I contacted Don and asked him if he had any objections to replacing him on the cemetery committee, taking him off and putting Kathy on. Don agreed. So Don is still on 3 other committees, so he's a busy guy anyway. So I guess I'm looking for a motion to put Kathy O'Connell on the cemetery committee and remove her from the standing insurance committee.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Don.
You guys let me do some work over here?
We're leaving you for the discussion part.
No, she means committee-wise, right?
No, I mean,
She
like.
wants to make a motion.
Every time he moves something,
They've moved everything, both of them so
I
far.
know.
Okay,
he said we have a
They're
busy
not letting me
meeting.
do anything.
okay.
All right.
You can do the next one.
Okay, so we still have time. So I added this to the agenda. At the last meeting, I had read a resignation from Kevin Smith from the zoning board. We had moved to replace him with Bob Bankovich due to Bob working so closely with the zoning board. He was the code enforcement officer, so we had appointed him. Today, Steph brought it to my attention that the town board has to appoint the chairperson, not the committee. We do have it in writing here. That is the correct information. So our committee consists of Paul Allen, Tim Smith, Steph's husband, Kevin O'Brien, and Mark Doniger, and Bob Bankovich. So I guess I'm looking to move this for discussion, for an appointment. Anybody want to move it for discussion?
I will.
Okay.
I'm waiting now for it.
Second.
Second, Rochelle.
I gave it.
Okay. So discussion.
All right, so, yeah, it's been a while, so I guess that went right by me, a high fastball went right by me last time, that we need to appoint the chair and then let them go off on their work. In towns, both the appointment of members as well as the designation of the chairperson are made by the town board. Cities and towns, an appointment to fill a vacancy occurring during a term of office is made same manner. So, naturally, we thought of all of those 5, in this case, all men, for our ZBA. The consensus is Paul Allen. I mean, that's what. But we understand you're busy and you
It's not
have,
so much that, it's,
I haven't even sat on a single case yet here.
Right.
Have we had any, Paul?
We were having one on Tuesday,
Oh, so that's the first one?
Monday, yeah, okay, it's Monday.
But, and Paul, in all seriousness, it is not that busy an appointment. No, but I mean, you see how often you've had over the
I've been on
last,
it for a year, and this is the
Right.
first case I'm
Right.
going to, right? But I would just, I prefer not to go straight from 0 to 100.
understood.
And, you know, given that Bob has, now I don't know what happened there, that Bob can't do that or something, where we already.
Oh, it's not that he can't.
Okay, I thought.
No.
I thought that had been, what I kind of was hearing was that we had recommended him, basically because he's got the most experience with the code.
With the
Okay.
I don't mind doing it, but not right out of the chute.
Understood.
I just wanna see it run, you know, for a meeting or two.
Okay,
And certainly, no, I'm sure many people around here, including myself, are aware of Bob's experience in the code and the enforcement part, and he's happens to be a good friend to the town and to myself. But he was new completely to the,
Cody took that, yeah.
I mean, he's just gotten off his old job, and we just looked to appoint him onto, to fill out year 5.
Right.
So I thought, well, geez, since we're already been corrected that we need to have the town board appoint, I thought maybe we'll broaden the search a little bit. Bob is, I think, a perfect one for that. Just keeping in mind that what the ZBA does has almost nothing to do with what everybody else has. As I've said to previous people when I was in a village position like this, if a ZBA goes in with the thought denied because the code says so, well, then why do we have a ZBA, right?
Right.
Because the appeal process is
The whole point
trying
of that is
to,
because it doesn't conform.
right, and if, is 13 feet or 15 feet appropriate for a shed or this or that, I'm just making one up. Well, it might be in this particular case, and that's why the state requires us to have that group. But you go at it, as the 5-person board that you sit on, you go at it a little differently. Not looking to rubber stamp anything completely as, sure, variance, but to, you know, a little less rigidity. There's things when you're on the planning board, or in Bob's previous job, where no matter how much they like you or your project, they have to say no, because they have to go by the book. You're given a whole different sort of parameters in ZBA. I think that if we leave tonight without, you know, without the Paul Allen being chairman, or going back and asking Bob, because he wasn't really sure he was gonna be asked at all, but.
no,
But we're happy that you're serving.
I appreciate the confidence, and that's, you know, when I was approached to join the board in the first place, a lot of what you were just saying, Neil, is why I agreed to do it, right? Because it's not conforming, and there is a judgment call there about what's good for the homeowner, what's good for the neighbors, what's good for the town long-term.
Going forward,
Precedent
right.
setting, all that good stuff, right? And I pride myself in having some reasonable judgment. in those
Reasonableness is the big, most important part of this.
I just from, you know, it's more from, hey, I'm new.
No, I understand.
haven't sat on one meeting, if anybody who's been on that board for longer than me, right, and had seen 1 or 2 cases, might be more appropriate, even if it was only for a year.
We appreciate, I appreciate it.
You know, that's all, I just wanna see it run.
If we can double back and, you know, do Bob, you don't have an answer from him from the first time, do you?
Bob, for his
The chair.
appointment,
Who's-
no,
Not the
because
chair.
nobody knew, we just
Right.
found out today,
But-
so no.
But he's agreed to sit.
Oh, absolutely, he was very honored, he said, very happy.
But I spoke to him already.
You
about
did.
this one case that is coming up, for example, just for, you know, discussion purpose point of view.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't know if any of the other board members, Mark or Tim, or
Kevin
Kevin
O'Brien.
O'Brien, okay, have done this before either for very long?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'd be happy to propose Bob Bankovich under the auspices that he would accept. We can always go back to the drawing
Right,
board.
okay, okay.
Does that make sense?
Do we need a second on that?
We do.
I'll second.
Okay,
Oh, she's not-
Michelle falling right into
Oh,
it.
she's hogging all of us.
Just
Okay, all in
believe I was
favor
here for none
of
of
Bob
the minutes.
Bankovich being the chair for the ZBA? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so I will call Bob.
Quick question on that, just real quick, the term for that, not that it's changing, I'm not waffling here. The term for that is aligned with the term of the board member, is that what it is?
So, yes, so
Yes.
Bob came on June 6th, and he will be expiring December 31st,
Okay, this year.
this year, 22. He's the only one this year.
His appointment comports with
Concurs.
Kevin Smith's.
Right.
Right? Yours is on
You
its
might be
own.
back in December, is what I said.
There we go.
Right, well, in December, we will, yes, be back here
Yes, we will have
to,
to readdress,
correct, and then
for a
he'll go
reappointment.
till 26.
correct.
Yep. Okay. I did bring that, I'm glad I brought it now.
Sure did.
Yeah, that came in
Those are
handy.
handy.
Yes. Okay, so I will contact Bob. I really think he will be thrilled with that. Okay. Believe it or not, we're through everything already. So basically, we have to wait till 5:15 to close the public hearing, so I'm gonna go ahead to committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Steph, you have anything?
Well, I guess I can tell you the meeting's gonna be, the zoning board of appeals, and that's why there's a rush for getting the chairman, is going to be for a variance. It's, the public hearing and meeting are gonna be, this next Monday, the 27th at 4 o'clock at Town Hall. The only other thing, the cemetery issue, I did a lot of learning with a cemetery issue recently,
Oh,
but.
the latest cemetery issue.
Yeah, it had me running up to the cemetery on a Sunday and checking things out, so,
We had a discrepancy with what a taxpayer thought was in line for what they were supposed to see up there, and what was actually done is what we always do. And once the sizes and locations were explained and the rules were explained, that they were given when they reserved a plot.
Right.
They understood 100% that they never looked at the rules, and the rules are there for a reason, and once they understood why the rules were there, things smoothed out a whole lot more.
Good.
The biggest problem was I was in Vermont when this was all transpiring, on quote-unquote vacation, and parts of the programming, all the programming are on my computer, which we all know that in the town hall is the passwords and such, but she doesn't have any expertise, hasn't been trained on
Background.
how to open it up and
Background.
look at it or anything else.
Well, it's a good time to,
So
she's
the paper
new.
part of it, she could
What's that?
explain, she's,
Right.
everything that's on that computer is in paper form in her office, but this, and none of it has the sizes and so on and so forth.
so Randy, this
it's a
taxpayer
training process.
or person with a loved one in one of our cemeteries looking to do something above and beyond what we usually
No.
do, is that, okay,
No, it was boilerplate,
Listen.
simple
gotcha.
situation, and it just got really blown out of proportion. I called them on Saturday, well, Friday he called me. I went up there, I made sure that my men did exactly as they normally do, and they did. I stood on top of where everything was going to transpire, called the family. They said, no, if it's there, we just didn't see it.
Gotcha.
Okay, you sure you don't wanna come see it? Nope. Well, Saturday I was parked down by this, beach with my camper, ready to go on my first camping trip with my new camper, sitting on the side of the road trying to call people, which had no cell service out there in Never Never Land. And it got to a point where I called my mom, and my mom drove out there.
Oh,
So, she explained to them, and then I got a hold of one of my employees, he also went out there. And by the time I got to, North Creek / Weavertown area, I got a text message that everything was under control. By the time I got to Vermont, I got one from her saying that things are still mayhem. But we worked it out Monday or Tuesday when I got back. and met with the family. and-
Sounds like you went out of your way to make it right,
We
both
tried,
of you.
But
They always do.
The whole thing was like a stone that was placed before regulations were made,
there's a
made
stone
it
in the
look very
cemetery
strange
before,
when you went up there, yeah.
Gotcha.
going way back that really threw people off.
And you went from burial plots to cremation plots, so, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was a learning experience.
There is.
Yeah, cemeteries are.
Okay, so once again, I'm going to stop. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to close the public hearing for the highway superintendent.
I'll move.
Second,
Oh, second.
I'd like to object. No.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Well, there wasn't much comment on either of those, was there?
no, I didn't think there would be, but anyway, so I'm going to read the one. I'll start with town supervisor, I'll read this resolution, and we'll go ahead and approve this resolution, and then we'll go on to the next one. And I'm only reading this first one. They're both the same. Kathy O'Connell, oh, she's upset because she missed the meeting. Whereas the current term of office for the elected town supervisor is 2 years, given the default term limits set forth in New York Town Law 24, and whereas New York Municipal Home Rule Law 10(1) A1 and 13 permit municipalities to adopt a local law extending the term of office of elected officials beyond the default period provided in New York Town Law 24, so long as the matter is put to a mandatory referendum pursuant to New York Municipal Home Rule Law 23, and whereas the town board of the town of Lake Pleasant believes an extended term of office for the town supervisor will provide greater continuity to the community and thus would be in the public's best interest, and whereas proof of notice having been furnished, the public hearing on the proposed local law extending the term of the office for the town supervisor was held on June 17th, 2022, where now I lost my place, and with all persons desiring to be heard, having been heard. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts local law number, whatever it is, 3?
That's gonna be
2, local law number 2 of 2022, extending the term of office for the town supervisor from 2 to 4-year terms, and be it further resolved that this local law is subject to a mandatory referendum in the manner provided in New York Municipal Home Rule Law 23, and be it further resolved, after passing such resolution and within 10 days of its adoption, the town clerk shall cause local law number 2 of 2022 to be submitted to the Hamilton County Board of Elections for inclusion of the 2 propositions contained therein for approval of the qualified voters of the town of Lake Pleasant and the general election to be held on November 8th, 2022. Whereupon the resolution was put to a vote, recorded as follows. Someone want to move it?
I'll move.
Okay, someone second?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I will abstain. Okay, so that one is done. I'm not going to read the second one. Does anybody feel it's necessary to read it? It's exactly the same, except
No, just to change
Just-
the,
the only change will be, the next one will be local law number 3. And the position would actually be for,
highway.
whereas the current term of office for the elected town highway superintendent is 2 years, given the default term limits set forth by the New York State law, switching it to 4 years. So, okay, someone want to move that?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Go ahead.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
No, no.
Okay, and, you don't have to. Okay, so we're set with that, and I just wanted to mention that Steph did have this notice in the newspaper for the public hearing, and also in her shadow box, and also at town hall, so we followed all the guidelines of the state, so that is not an issue. And now we'll move forward. So next, we were on committee reports. Rochelle, anything?
I don't have anything right now. I need to have a meeting with Sam and just discuss the upcoming events of the summer.
Okay.
basically.
Good. Okay. Neil?
No, nothing.
Don?
No.
Nothing. Ah, okay. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to pay the bills from June 17th.
I'll move.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Is it June 17th or 16th? Or is it two of them?
No, there was just one.
17th.
What's today, 17th?
And it says 16th here, but I thought it was
It was
17th.
Okay, they did it on the 16th, I apologize, that's the 16th. Do you still move that, Rochelle? Dawn, you still second it?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and there's no discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, Nance, public comment.
A lot.
Well, you're the only one, Paul went in the other room.
Today, I listened to or watched the, budget, the state controller's office budget, webinar. And, kind of went in cocky thinking, you know, it was a good refresher, I'll say that. And I would recommend that the board, especially new board members, watch it. It's gonna be, they're gonna do it again on July 12th. What did I have? 4 to 3 p.m. It must be 4 to 7 p.m. It was in the same email that Steph, I believe, sent out to everyone.
Yeah.
Randy, you should probably watch it too, because you've got most of the budget.
Now,
Wait a minute, on what date?
And should
July
understand,
12th.
you felt you learned something? Yeah, then you're right, we should all probably.
And,
Well, if she
yeah,
does
there were
everything.
a couple of things.
7, 12, oh, when,
Yeah.
4 to 3?
4 to 7.
It's
Yes.
I think it's 4 to 7.
4 to 3 in the
I don't know why I wrote
morning.
4 to 3, probably because it's
He's
3
being a
hours.
Yeah.
I didn't.
But, yeah, they talk about reserves. Now, I'm not sure if this is gonna be a live one, or if it's gonna be a tape
Oh,
Recorded.
of what I saw. If it's a tape of what I saw, they had a lot of questions from people on reserve funds. And they recommend reading the controller's pamphlets or information on it, which we've tried to read through, and it's difficult reading. If not, there might be other questions, which,
these sort of things usually get assigned to the council members who don't make meetings, right? So,
yeah, definitely,
Kathy?
yeah.
Yeah, she could watch it on a
But one of
summary,
the
right?
things, they kept- one of the things they kept driving home, and I know you'll get a kick out of it, and is about making sure you have contingent in your budget. And a previous town supervisor, I went to war with on a regular basis because he kept wanting to take contingent funds out to help keep the budget lower, while it is a very good thing to have in your budget because you can't know everything that's gonna happen. So if people can watch it, it'll be good.
Okay.
I mean, I can't say it was, like breathtaking,
scintillating?
like a volume or anything,
Anything else, Nance?
That's great.
No, that's it.
Okay. We received a thank you note from the July 4th Parade Committee. Thank you for your donation for the 2022 4th of July Parade. Your support is greatly appreciated. Looking forward to a great parade. Thank you. I did just want to mention a few things. I've received the certificate of liability insurance for Anita Foley and also the Lake Pleasant senior citizens for 22-23, and I have put them in the proper files. At the last meeting, Caitlin Stewart was here to discuss the grant application by the town on behalf of the Upper Hudson River Watershed Coalition. The day after our meeting, I did go up to Caitlin's office to discuss our concerns and questions that we had here. And Caitlin and, excuse me, Allison Gaddy had already discussed our meeting and decided there would not be enough time left for another town if we decided not to go with it, so they agreed to go forward and ask another town, and they wanted me to relay their appreciation and totally understood our concerns and said there would be smaller grants down the road that we can consider when we're ready. John Foley, well, everybody's been to Town Hall, has completed the landscaping in front of Town Hall. Most of the plants in the front of the building, he had dug up last fall and replanted them and now brought them back and planted them in front of Town Hall, so he didn't have to buy all new. He said they were really healthy, so why not save them? He is sticking to his original agreed job estimate from 2020, August of 2020. He is not charging us for the left side of the garden on the hill. He weeded it, he planted more flowers, and he added more black mulch. He will be doing all maintenance, weeding and watering, and using organic fertilizer for the season, and in the fall, he will cut back the flowers and remove all the debris. So that's John Foley, so that was pretty nice of him to stick to,
This in the front here, he started, and it looks nice.
What he's
Yeah.
done looks very good.
yeah, and we put American flags all in front of the building, so it looks really nice. The next thing is the senior meal sites will now be open Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays for the summer. And another thing Kathy brought to my attention, we already dealt with that, so I'll get rid of that. And I just wanna say with the seniors, I've been working closely with the supervisor from Wells on the senior bus trips. I talked to Pauline today, and I am going to their July 13th meeting to talk to all the seniors. And the supervisor from Wells is going to, believe it or not, their senior meeting is the 13th as well in Wells, so he's going there. And we're going to share what we've both come up with them, and try to work together as communities, and hoping maybe down the road, we can also possibly bring in Arietta to the senior bus trips. So that's what we've really been working on, and Pauline was very optimistic today, so I'm really
Really?
hoping for an optimistic meeting on the 13th.
Good.
Yep, so our next meeting will be on Tuesday, July 5th
Roundtable.
at, oh, thank you, at 5 PM at Town Hall.
Oh,
At Town Hall, we can't have here.
yeah, because we have the library.
Yes, so it will be at Town Hall. And next is Roundtable, thank you.
Wait a minute, 7-5.
7-5 at 5 PM, Town Hall. And next is Roundtable. Okay,
I thought you did very good, Tilly.
Me too.
I did it all, didn't I? All mine, I forgot. Okay, sorry, Don, Roundtable.
I've been harping on people dropping garbage on the way to the landfill. And, it's still there, but it's less. But today we had to go over to Warrensburg. And I pulled out of the driveway, and a certain service truck from one of the organizations in town, a one-ton dump truck, looked like it was overflowing with white bags and had a tarp on it. But the tarp was only covering what was actually in the bed, and the white, it looked like me with a small t-shirt on, it was just
Overstuffed?
overstuffed. So,
Thanks for adding some
We
humor
don't do
to it.
small t-shirts.
no. So,
Analogies were
Make
made.
sure that goes in the minutes.
it's on tape.
Analogies were made.
YouTube too.
So, as we were driving down the road, we got to just about to where the county buildings are, and there's a big white bag right on the yellow lines.
The one had already escaped.
One had already escaped. So I don't know if we can send a letter to them with the law, or, cause they don't have a,
This is a local concern. You said a business or
it's Camp of the Woods.
there we go. Get it.
Let's get it down.
Might as well get it out in public,
Camp of the
because
Woods.
it happened.
Last year, a
it
couple
always
times.
happens. And they just don't cover the load, and they try and carry too much at once, and it gets spilled all over the road.
Okay, so
The
Just,
letter go,
you do a letter, me do a letter, us do a letter?
we've got one drawn up. to
Oh,
contractors.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can send them
Contractors.
contractor.
yeah, just say.
The same,
known
same things
that-
apply.
Yeah, and this isn't general, it's known that their truck does it, so in order to keep up their good
You just wanna go over it.
good grace with the community.
I think Don wants something more specific. This is a form letter that we use, maybe a hand note on
handwritten.
it
Yeah,
saying,
just a note
you know, it's been
saying-
observed. Beyond what the form letter, which is, I've seen is good, but just, it's been observed by
We'll
several
work
of
on
our
that
people.
tomorrow.
On this date.
I've got a good day.
Yeah, yeah, right,
You and
on
I
this
work on
date,
it.
observed by, it's tantamount, its reason for it is because the loads are not secured,
Mm-hmm.
please, you know.
Yeah,
Talk to
proper
whoever,
coverage of
because this is
the
gonna
load
come into the office, a
should
camp,
be on the sides.
and it's gonna
too.
need to trickle down to the people who
Mm-hmm.
are securing those loads.
Absolutely, absolutely, okay.
That's all I got.
That's it? Thank you, Don. Neil?
I only have one thing, and that's to say kudos to you and whoever else did all of that machinations as far as phone, but particularly these mystery ghost charges that come through. No, that's, it takes, I know you know, but I mean, I know from press, it takes a lot of chasing your tails.
Yeah.
And so good for you and the office people and staying with that, because those costs, we all know, you certainly do, they go on and on and on until you put the pin in it, because they're not gonna, oh my God, we've been charging you guys too much. It never happens.
Well, I'm actually a
Good
little
for you.
disappointed with Frontier because this is like the 5th working day and they haven't called me, so I think I'm going to have to call her
There you
tomorrow
go.
about the museum and then say, hey, by the way, we talked and I have everything documented, who I talked to and all, so.
They start with those plans.
Yeah.
You know, here's a great plan that you could have.
Sure.
for- Like probably here it was with the 4 lines or whatever it
Exactly.
was. And then all of a sudden, those prices keep going up,
Right,
and there's other better plans that they don't tell you
Right, so you
about.
get moved to another one, you're still paying on these, I mean, it's to the point now where there's a cottage industry on the, you know, the TV commercials for companies that you pay to get you out of things that you've been in too long, right?
Yeah,
We-
yeah.
We'll cancel this for you, life gets complicated,
Mm-hmm.
even more so when the stack of bills is like this. I just,
well, when I.
credit to that.
When I came to Sherry and we realized that she had a separate line at her desk, I said, it would be cheaper for us at the town to buy you a portable phone.
Right.
And she leaned over and she picked up, she said, mine is portable. I said, well, bingo, there you go then, let's just cancel that line, there's no reason for it. I mean,
And-
the phone rings on the main line, no one's there, she can pick it up here and answer it.
And in my experience, the department heads, whomever you're speaking to, they wanna be reasonable and they want to not to tick money over the dam, but these things have to be found out. In fact, going back to Aaron, same thing. Kudos to him for saying, yeah, that's silly.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to come back to the budget. It can be reassigned the way he suggests, because those costs are gonna go up. We're gonna ask more of him. He's a more active historian than we've ever had, probably. And so, yeah, but why, spend it more appropriately
Yeah.
than just sending it to Frontier,
Yes.
which gets lost in a
Yep.
black hole.
So we'll just watch his budget, and if he gets close later on in the year, then we'll go ahead and
Well, Nancy got contingent for that. Don't worry.
push it through that way. Anything in roundtable, Missy?
Not this weekend, but the following weekend is the 4th of July parade. So I hope everybody will be there with their red, white, and blue on. I have some posters here if anybody knows of anywhere that needs one, or if you want them for the town hall. Or
Well, we should take them to
Saturday the
town
second
hall.
at
7 p.m. is the
seven,
parade.
usually,
Yeah.
yep.
6 p.m. is lineup, right?
Yes, and then all the stuff starts down at the pavilion at 5. We'll have live music, and Camp Store will be there with games and food, and we'll
So
have
how are you
bounce
doing with
houses.
the sign up, the floats and stuff?
I have a meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have a better idea. I think they've started to trickle in. It was kind of a late year,
Okay.
for them to start coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We always get a lot of last minute ones.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Steph, anything for roundtable?
Just that Faith and I have completed the application and taken the test, and we are now signed up as the license issuing agents for the fishing and hunting.
Good.
We have it
Good.
under Debbie's name, and we had to
Yeah.
get switched over, and luckily they were very kind, and they let us keep operating through the whole transition,
Good.
which took us about a month and a half, 'cause we had
Well,
to
they're accustomed to
paperwork,
that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
testing and all that,
Super.
so.
And then we had a problem at town hall. We should probably talk about where we had no email with Digital Towpath. So when I got in the morning, Steve was on his 3rd day of class that week and had to be on at 8:30, and we were in a panic. Because if he missed that class, he has to take that whole week all over again. So first I called Pete Newell. He gave me the text name out in Barneveld, then I called him. But then I also went on Digital Towpath's website online and I filled out a service order telling him it's an emergency, blah, 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 blah. So we were without till 10 o'clock that morning?
Really?
Yeah, maybe about that, a little
Yes,
after.
but what we did is Steve actually ended up going on his computer and putting his Gmail, opened up a Gmail account on his computer so he could get the emails, because they only send it to one, they won't send it to both of his. So he had to do the Gmail to get it into his computer and,
Purposes of training, that's fine.
yeah, so we're happy because now he always has a backup, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. But that was really a very big deal and Pete couldn't help us at all, we were crippled, it was just not
It
good.
was strange because Rochelle and I discovered that we could email each other on her phones, through our email,
Yeah,
through the town email.
I could,
Right, but it wouldn't work on, it wouldn't come
through
up.
Digital Towpath on the phone. I've got Gmail here.
Right, but Joe with Digital Towpath, he said that it had to do with the Zimbra email.
And I knew that they were working on it because after I called and then I went online and filled it out, within 10 minutes, my screen changed. So I knew they were already working on the problem, but it took them a little bit longer. But that,
These tech people, it's so easy for them to just go like,
it is. We probably all should have a second
That's
option on our computers. We don't have to solely depend on Digital Towpath. Anyway, anything else? Randy, anything else? Steph? Paul, you missed public comment. Is there anything you wanted to say?
I'm good, thank you.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to
Don, anything
adjourn.
else?
No, I think we're all set.
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm making the motion to adjourn.
Don moved it, okay?
Michelle?
I'll second.
Okay.
I
See
don't
you
have any
guys
place
July
to put this, but that looks good. Blind Rhino, huh?
Yes.
Is that somebody you've ever heard? It's a cool name.
So it is Tracy Joy's husband. That's his newest band.
Newest band.
Yes. He's been a part of like 3 or 4 bands for the last few years.
Band people jump around.